it's time
to taste the Pyment.
So this is from June 29th of this year, and today is September 4th, which means it's about 2 months old, 8-9 weeks since it's been bottled. And this is, as you remember, our Pyment, which we made with our own homegrown grapes and honey, and it's, that's just a type of mead. If you haven't seen all of the videos leading up to this, you may want to go watch those, or find out if we like it, and then decide if you want to go watch them afterwards. So let me just pour some.
Observations in the bottle: it is a lovely clear beverage, though there are very minimal wispies at the very, very bottom.
Yeah.
So
we might have bottled it a little soon.
We did multiple rackings, we still got a little bit of sediment. This is no big deal.
No. Just don't drink the bottom of the bottle.
But it is crystal clear in the glass. It's a beautiful golden hue that you would expect from a mead.
Yeah.
The grapes did not add any color to it whatsoever.
No significant color at all, really. On the nose, it's very honey forward. Nice and sweet. I do get a little bit of that, we call it the footy taste, but I get a little bit of that smell, the slight harshness, not quite bitter, almost sour. Just a very little bit of that in the nose.
But I'm attributing that more towards the grape than I am towards any odd off-gassing.
Yeah. I think, there's no off-gassing going on. It's gone.
Right. But normally true footiness is due to gassing.
It smells really nice. It's got a little bit of a fruit to it. I want to say almost a plum with a slight berry, but
I'm almost getting a citrus note, but I don't know if that's just the alcohol that's making my brain look for citrus.
There's a tart something in the smell. I definitely get honey, and I get almost a caramel-y kind of flavor, kind of smell going there. It's interesting. It's not a simple aroma, okay? It's got a little bit more complexity.
So the first sip, we're acclimating our palate to
you don't hold it or anything.
The
just
alcohol.
Get it down.
But even though this is marked at 13.5%,
Doesn't taste like it.
I'm not getting a strong alcohol note. I'm not getting any of those.
What I actually got was kind of a bright flavor.
Yeah.
It was kind of cooling almost, even though this isn't cold, it's room temperature.
Yeah.
It was cooling. A little bit of sweetness, then a tartness, and overall the finish was very quick and very short.
Yeah.
I kind of found it a little thin. It's not bad, but it doesn't fill your mouth. It's pleasant. Let's say that. Second sip, you hold it a little bit, and you get more flavors out of it. Okay, that time I get combination orange lemon. Still again with the astringency though.
The first sensation I get is a very clean profile.
Yep.
Almost like something you would want as an aperitif to clean
very
your
much
palate.
like an apple cider is
and
crisp.
Then it went into juice notes. Brian was getting the lemon orange. Is that what you said?
Yeah, orange lemon combined.
Where I was feeling more like apple juice.
Yeah, that's where the cider idea came from for me. I'm getting an apple-y type flavor in this, almost a green apple.
And the flavors for me are not as honey forward as the aroma is, which I find very interesting.
Yeah, the honey on the smell, it was like pure honey. I was afraid this was going to be overly sweet and just too much. It's really not very honey forward at all.
It wasn't until after I finally swallowed that I started to get more of those harsh notes that you attribute towards alcohol. Which I found interesting in contrast to, say, whiskey, which obviously is a stronger proof than this is. Mm-hmm. But the longer you keep a whiskey in your mouth, the more you're like, ah!
This is 13.5% ABV, by the way, for anybody who was curious. So it's medium for a wine or for a mead. I actually have to say I like this, but I don't know that I would drink this room temperature alone. Now, what I mean by that is I have varying degrees of how much I can enjoy a wine or a mead. And the first one is If I really like it, I can just drink it out of the glass. Warm, room temperature, doesn't matter. And it's awesome. The next would be if I have to chill it down. If I have to put it on ice.
This one for me is lending itself nicely towards a food pairing.
Yes, that's the third step. If I have to go down to that, that means I like it still, but it's not necessarily my favorite thing. There's very strong flavors here.
But
it's acidic. That's what it is. This is a strong acidic tart note.
Which makes me put it more into the white wine category.
Oh, most definitely.
As far as food pairings go. So I would think this would be lovely with seafood,
Mm-hmm.
with chicken, with pork that's not in a rich gravy, a pork that's served more as the other white meat style serving, salad, even pasta in an oil-based sauce.
See, I don't agree with that. Whenever I've tried that with a white wine like this, the fruity notes of this conflict with the garlicky oil. It doesn't work well.
Sure, if it's an overly garlicky oil, then that would be bad. But I was thinking more like a lemon oil.
Oh, okay. If you did just like a simpler olive oil
like
with
that
lemon.
chicken that you made, chicken française?
Oh, chicken française. Okay. Yes, with something like that it would go good because also you would use this in the sauce.
Right.
So that works really, really well. If you use wine in the sauce, this goes great with whatever pasta you put it with.
And
that's kind of a big thing in cooking.
That's a trick that you may or may not be aware of in cooking, home cooking. If you plan on serving a wine with your meal, but you plan on having a wine in that meal, if you use the same wine, it's awesome.
Now, we're saying wine. We consider mead to be a type of wine, okay? Some people say mead is a whole thing unto itself. However, if I had to classify it, I'd call it a wine. It's closest to wine. Flavor-wise, character-wise, use-wise, everything about it is most like a wine. So when you hear us say that, please don't get offended. Just understand that in our classifications, you have wines, you have ciders, and you have beer. Mead, for the most part, falls under the wine category.
Right.
Now, if it was made much lower ABV and we hopped it, I might call it a beer, even though it's still not technically a beer.
Right.
It'd be kind of a cider beer, a sear, if you will.
But with that said, part of the reason why I mentioned that is because we actually do use mead in cooking quite frequently. Yeah. Various applications, in fact. But for this particular pyment, I think it would be really lovely in a light summertime dish.
Yes, I agree. I just took another sip, and that time I got a mouthful of honey. Like right off the bat, it was a mouthful of honey. Then I got kind of a tartness to it, which is not unpleasant. It's just that's the flavor I got. A little bit of an acidic burst there. The berry came back. I again got like I want to say like almost a raspberry mixed with a lemony orange flavor, and it just really stuck there. And then the finish was still very, very short. But that's when I got the alcohol, was on the finish.
Yeah, I only get the alcohol on the finish. Mm-hmm. And I find that really interesting, and it doesn't bother me in the slightest because I like enjoying the flavor profiles in a beverage without the interference of the alcohol astringency thing that goes on.
I think we should start a new thing. We should give a rating. Like a 1 to 10 rating.
That's numbers.
But, okay, 10 means it's like the best thing you've ever had, and 1 means you wouldn't offer it to an enemy. I'm going to put this one as a 6, which means it's on the good side, but it's not like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm in between a 6 and a 7 because...
so you like it a little more than I do.
I think I do like it a little bit more than you do. And part of that is because I really enjoy drinking wine with food.
Yep.
I really enjoy the fact that for me personally, I feel like wine opens my palate to be more receptive to the flavors in the food.
Well, because there's alcohol-soluble flavors
that
you can only get in the presence of alcohol.
But
like tomatoes.
I'm cognitive of that, where I think some people might not be. And I'm not saying that to be...
dismissive.
Right. Yeah. By no means.
See, she likes to do that where I like to pour a big mug of it and drink it while I'm watching TV at night.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. We have different ways that we like to enjoy it. And for me, this isn't one that I would reach for. Not saying it's bad. I would totally drink it with food, but not really one that I would pour in a mug and enjoy over the course of a couple hours.
But I'm enjoying this enough that now I really want chicken française.
That's why this is a 6 to me, because it's good, but it's not that great. Now you want chicken française? I can make that.
I know you can.
Anyway, so to me, this is a successful mead. Okay, this worked really, really well. There's a few things that I would actually probably change though, and that is the concentration of grapes. I really wish we got more of the grape.
I would agree. I want, knowing what this is, I want there to be a strong grape influence.
And there really isn't.
There really isn't. I appreciate that I'm getting a fruitiness to it, but it's not coming forward as grape.
You know what I'm thinking we should do? We should revisit a Pyment at some point and maybe purchase like a vintner's style grape juice rather than just use the stuff from Aldi or something. Get a real quality, like a specific kind, like a, I don't know, whatever, a quality grape juice, and make another Pyment with it.
And that's a good point to make, because we get this question a lot on this channel, is could you make this particular type of wine? Well, the way to make a particular type of wine is you have to have that particular type of grape.
Like Merlot. You need Merlot grapes. Pinot Grigio, you need Pinot grapes, or you're not going to be making it.
Our grapes are whatever grows in Florida.
There's a name for them. I forget what it is.
It's not...
They're Lambrusco, or related to Lambrusco.
Which is a wine, but I don't think our particular types are what are typical to making Lambrusco wine.
And there's a lot of things into a grapevine, too. We have basically one grapevine that's feeding a very large area. As it spreads out, each grape gets less and less sugar. You're supposed to cut those back. We never have, because we don't really care. Yeah. We don't use the grapes a lot. They're more decoration and things like that. So for us, it didn't matter, but we should trim those back. That way each grape gets more sugar in them. That said, they do taste really, really good when you eat them.
And that is interesting, and made me think of another thing, is that when we eat our grapes, they taste more like a berry than they do a grape, at least in my mind, because I'm not really all that
grapes kind of like a berry
on grapes. So maybe that is why this has more of the berry flavors, fruit notes rather than grape notes, because of the type of grapes we're using.
I still don't believe that the grapes came through as much as I really wanted them to.
Yeah.
I still say this is a successful mead, though. Yes. So don't take that the wrong way. And if you have access to grapes, especially like a muscadine or a Concord grape, something that's really sweet, go for it. Do it. If you don't, watch out for our pure juice version of a Pyment that we might be doing sooner than we think. Because now I kind of want to do that.
Alrighty.
Anyway. If you like this video, we have about 300 videos of wine, cider, mead, and beer making and drinking on our channel.
Thank you for liking and subscribing.
And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.